Are you tired of drowning in hundreds of resumes just to find a qualified candidate? Well, what if I could tell you can automate the majority of this process, all using AI skills that can take the entire process over and can reduce the huge amount of manual time element involved in this, and actually can provide a great experience with a candidate, fast follow-up, great for your internal team as well, giving them time back to focus on more complex tasks or actually that engagement with that potential candidate. AI is transforming HR. Today, we're going to go through an example which enables you to hire faster, fairer, and make the entire process more efficient so that you can focus on other tasks. Again, all of the resources that we're going to go through today are in the link below. Just to note, today we're going to do a slightly different example. I'm going to walk you through how this could work, just because we've got 7 different parts in its entirety. So there's a lot to go through and we don't want to take too much time building it in real time. So, how will we get the information starting off? Well, actually, in this case, we're going to use Typeform. We would put this on our website or a portal for them to apply. We would ask for their first name, last name, phone number, email, so that candidate's contact details. We would actually be able to specify the job that they're applying for. So maybe you've got different portals, you have different forms, and that's how you would come it through. Or for example, on here, you could have different choices that customer would then select. Again, that can then be used for filtering, automation in the background. We would also, of course, need their CV, preferably in a PDF format. So again, we would get that to upload here. Again, we can make it required on the right hand side. You can connect your Google Drive if you really want to, but we're going to deal with that all later on. Now, if we move on to the first part of the automation, what we're going to be doing, again, if we come down here, again, if you click on the link below, you can import all of this plus the rest that we're going to go through today. We're just going to explain the flow. So what's going to happen is we're going to have a real response time Typeform. That's going to wait for a response to come through. What we're then going to do is wait for the CV. We're going to collect all of that information and store it. That's where we're going to store the URL for the future. Of course, because it's a PDF, what we want to do is actually convert it into text. The reason we're doing this is because we're going to use the normal ChatGPT instead of using Vision. But again, you could use Vision or PDF. I think they offer an actual component around CV screening, so you could do that instead. Once we've extracted all of this information, we're going to store that data in a variable so we can use it later on. Here we've got a router. Again, this is 2 different ways that you could complete the process. But what you could also do is have multiple routers, depending on if you're doing multiple different jobs in the same scenario, or if you're actually going to spread them out into different scenarios and turn them on and off as you need. What we've done in this case is actually created a job description. And what this is going to do is you can actually specify the location. For example, here, you can go through, actually get the job description for a sales manager. You know where that document is, pull it out and use it. Again, if we come up here to the top right-hand side, we can click into Sales Manager. So again, this is great because it means you can keep all of your documents centralized, reduces all of the issues with variation control, lots of different descriptions being in the firm. You can keep it all in one place and use it nice and easy. We'll come back here. What we're going to have is a first check. So that's going to be a suitability analyzer. All it's going to do is output either yes or no, depending on if that candidate is suitable or not suitable. Again, we're going to have a suitability justifier. So what this is going to do is it's going to justify why they think that candidate is suitable. And again, that's going to be put into the Airtable that we're going to use to store all this information. Now, this next stage, again, what we're going to do is using Airtable, we're going to start to update the records depending on that customer's information. So if we think they're suitable, again, what we're going to do is start to map in all of this information. So again, their name, first name, last name, email, phone number, the role that they've applied for. Again, the CV, we need that URL. We're going to have the justification in there, and we're also going to have the status. And what that looks like in Airtable is something like this. So you would have had rows such as their entire name, their first name. We're going to touch on that a bit later because we're actually going to extract the first name. We're also going to have their email address, their phone number, the role that they've applied for. We're going to have the CV here. Again, what it enables you to do is if you were to click that link, you can download the CV straight away. We can also have the justifiable explanation in here. Again, this is an example. You can fully customize it in the prompt to build out what you need it to do. Again, if you don't want a justification, that's absolutely fine as well. You may choose to do this slightly differently. The status, again, this one's complete, but we're going to have a few different options. We've got for review, contact and book first stage interview. We're going to have follow-up, offer letter and complete. You can store the salary information in there if you really need to. We can also go through and we have key fields like last created, last modified, so that when we go through and try and make some changes in the future, we know when it's been updated and that we can do that. But also we have a unique record ID, so we know exactly which record we're talking about. Now, if we go back into here, what we'll see is exactly as we mentioned, we've updated all of these fields into our Airtable. We also want to send an email to the candidate. So for example, here we've got their email address, what they've applied for. We've got the roles. So again, just an automated email that can go back and says, thank you for applying. We've confirmed we've received it. We'll reach out in due course. Again, you can also add different variations of this. So if you've got show advanced settings, we can actually specify, for example, if you want any attachments, you want to copy any of the team that maybe would look after them for certain roles, BCC. We can also specify the from email address. So again, if you've got a specific HR, maybe onboarding team or recruitment team, you could put an email to come from them so they know that it's not coming from a person, but maybe from a team. Again, similar here, reply to, again, all able to be customized to what you need to do. What we've also got here is Twilio. So again, this is a platform that enables you to send text messages. This one here would just enable you to send a text message that says in the internal team, actually, we're going to say there's a new suitable candidate. Let's go through and double check. So again, eliminating the manual work, having to go through, sift and check if they're suitable. We're going to get a text message that says exactly who that person is, the role they've applied for, the reason why we think they're suitable, and you should probably go and check. On the other side, if we think they're not suitable, again, using the filter, so the output saying no, what we'll do is we'll come through here, we'll add all of their fields, but the only difference we're going to do is add them to backlog. So again, what that means is maybe we're not going to respond to them with a job straight away, but we could respond to them in the future. And again, similar email here, just confirming that we've received application and we're going to go through and process it and reach out to them in due course. The other lens that we've got here is perhaps you've got a job description and you want to get the latest document. Again, for example, here, you're able to come in, find the latest office manager role in this case. You can get all of the content from that file because it's going to go and locate it. You could do the suitability analyzer and again, go through the exact same process and just make sure that they're suitable for that role. Okay, brilliant. So that's part one. What we're going to do now is go on to part two, which is where if we've come into our Airtable, maybe the only manual part that you've done is gone through and say contact. Okay, so this contact and first booking stage interview, this one here, the purple. What that will do is that will automatically get the information for that candidate. We will extract their first name. Again, from the Typeform, you could also just put their first name in straight away if you want to do that instead. We're going to set the variable as their first name. We're going to upload that to Airtable. But again, you can use the first name that we'll pull out in Typeform and put that in straight away if you prefer. We're going to go through and create a unique Calendly link. Again, you can also create different versions of this. So if you've got a standardized invite that you want to send out to every candidate, we can do that as well. And then again, what we're going to do is send out a quick text and a quick email to the candidate, basically saying, great news, you've got through to the next stage. Here's the booking URL. We're looking forward to chatting to you soon. Again, providing a great user experience and ensuring that we're keeping up with all of the different candidates coming through. Now, on the next stage, what we're going to say is they've been really successful and actually we're going to start to offer them a potential job in the company. What we're going to do is again, come to our Airtable. What we would do is come through and say offer letter. All that would happen in the background is Airtable would pick up on this, because what it would notice is this last modified would change. And then what it will do is come through to here. It will pick up that latest ID. We're going to create a unique folder for that candidate. And what that will look like is if we come into this one here, we'll have their name, the position they've applied for, and the date that they've applied for it as well. So again, if we come into here, we're going to generate a new folder, exactly as we said, in a specific location. We're going to do their first name, the role they've applied for, and the timestamp. Again, you could format that timestamp into day, month, year. Or you could do day, month, and year. So that would be 04 November 2024, for example. We're also going to duplicate or copy the offer letter that we've already got in the template section there. So again, for example, here, this would be, again, template offer letter. We just need to make sure it's the one that they've applied for. We're then going to personalize that offer letter. And what we're going to do is basically go through and replace the text. And we're going to change it, for example, in generic where it says name to be that person's first name. Once we've made all of those changes, again, without having any manual work, this will all be done automatically. All of this will be sorted in the background. You won't need to type up multiple offer letters, saving you a huge amount of time. We're going to download this offer letter, convert it to PDF. We're then going to upload that PDF into that folder so that we know that that person's folder has a unique offer letter in case we need to refer back to it in the future. There's two different ways of completing this process. We've got a preferred sign-in method variable here. This is just if maybe you want to use an e-signature platform or you want to do it manually. What this would enable you to do is use platforms such as sign-in request, where what it would do is it would take that PDF request, you would go and send it through sign request, specify the area that they're going to sign the document, so their signature may be at the bottom of the offer letter, and it will automatically send it back to us. That's going to be the next stage we walk through. Or perhaps you want to do it manually, in which case that we'll extract that PDF document that we've generated with that personalized offer letter, and then we're going to email it to the individual instead. Again, both time we're going to text them, just let them know that they've got a new offer letter. We're really excited for the next stage. Could they get back to us as soon as possible so everything keeps moving in the background? Now, of course, with the two different variations, we need to make sure that we're getting the information back so that we can mark them as complete if they've moved forwards, or actually close them out if they've rejected the letter and we're not going to move forwards with them. So the first part of that is we're going to come into here and we're going to watch for a response. So in this case, maybe you have a specific folder. We're going to wait for any responses to come in that have like candidate offer letter. Again, we can specify the field in there to make sure that it's all key. We can download the attachment and make sure that we've got all of the information we need. Of course, to make sure that we can update the fields to say that we've got the confirmed offer letter, we've received it back. We're going to need to extract their first name from the content of that email, or perhaps from their email address if it's already standardized. We can then search for that candidate in Airtable, and we can update their status record so that what it will say is we found this unique candidate. We're now going to say that they are complete. So again, this would automatically update and move from offer letter to complete. If we come over to here, what we're going to do is the other variation. So we've used an e-sign-on instead. In this case, maybe you've used a platform like sign-in request. What this can do is automatically send it off to the individual, the candidate. We can ask them to do an e-signature onto that e-form. Once that's completed, it will automatically send it to us. That's why it's watch events, is waiting for the latest updates to be made. We're going to get all of the information. We're going to get the unique ID, in this case, of that signature request. We're going to extract the first name as well, just to make sure that we're doing it for the right person. We can also then, again, search for that candidate, update their record to say that it's complete, and we can move them into the next stage. So this will be a complete process for the first half. What we're now going to do is more of the housekeeping side of it. So again, if we've then rejected the candidate, what we're going to do is actually automatically get notified that this status has been updated and we've got rejected. We're going to come back into here, and this filter will only move forward if they've been rejected. We're going to email the candidate and just say, unfortunately, you're not moving forward at this stage, or unfortunately, we've agreed to part ways. We're not going to move forward with your application. Wish you all the best, hope for the future, everything like that. And again, text them as well. So we're keeping great lines of communication with that individual. Of course, for the housekeeping side of it, what we want to make sure is they're not staying in our active candidate list. So what we're going to do is get all of the record details, and then we're going to create a new record. And the reason we're doing this is if we come over to rejected candidates, all of their information will then be duplicated into this one here. We will then delete their old record, the suitable candidate list. So again, that's all we're going to do here is remove them from this list and move them into the rejected candidate pile. Of course, what we want to do at the next stage is if they're not responding to us, we also want to follow up with them. So again, in your Airtable, all we need to do is come across to suitable candidates, and then you would do follow up. So again, what this would then do is trigger the next stage, which is it would then email the candidate with a reminder. It would just reach out and say, hi there, how you doing? Everything okay? Anything we can help with, just want to hear back from you, make sure everything's okay. And again, we'll send them a text as well, just to remind them, keep moving things forwards, because again, there may have been some personal circumstances on their side, or they may have just been applying for lots of different jobs and lost track of which one they actually want to move forwards with. The other lens of that as well is perhaps we want to go through and just double check their CV in the future. So maybe we want to have them as a backlog candidate or completed. So again, these are the two opportunities where maybe they're suitable. We can come down to the bottom and we can do backlog or complete. What will then happen is in this stage is we will go through, we will get all of the details about that candidate. We will then say if they've been onboarded or completed, we're then going to create a new record, and we're going to do this on the onboarded tab, and we're then going to delete their old information in suitable candidate. If we said there may be a more of a backlog candidate, one to look for in the future, we're then going to create a unique ID for them, create a new field for them in that backlog table, again, able to reach out to them in the future, and then we're going to get rid of them in the active candidate area. That's how you're going to fully automate the CV screening process, reaching out to candidates so that you can hire faster, fairer, make it more efficient, give your team lots of time back, and accelerate process using AI and automation so that maybe you can focus on higher complexity tasks. Have a great day.